This is a quick demonstration I put together to show the major parts of the developer space and how they interact and work together. So the major components we see here, we have the developer space in the bottom, we have the unified listing, which actually is part in the developer space and part up in what I would call user space. And then we have the shopping alerting interface. This is actually developed by a separate project from Prosperity for All. It's developed by the Information Technology, RERC, in the United States, and it uses the API developed by Prosperity for All to link to the unified listing and provide it with an additional richer interface. So let's start off with a developer who creates a new aid, and they use the parts and tools from the developer space, and when they're done, they will then market it, put it up through the marketing components of the developer space, which will then insert it into the unified listing. As soon as it goes into the unified listing, which is federated with a number of other databases, that information would automatically flow to those databases. The Easton, which is a federation in Europe, Able Data, also to Australia as part of Eastern. And then it also flows to the shopping alerting interface, and from there to consumers. Now, a user can leave feedback on the shopping alerting interface, and then that feedback would automatically be fed directly to the manufacturers. But it would also be fed down into the developer space in the challenges area. So for example, a user leaves feedback saying, I wish that this product had this feature. That would go to the manufacturers, but the desire to have that new feature would also be fed down into the challengers area so that it could then be fed down to other developers who then can create aids, which they market, and they go back to the unified listing, and again back to the shopping alerting aid and back to the user. So we can actually have the user asking for features which could either come to the manufacturer and back through the manufacturer, or by going back down through the developer space. And again, all that information is also instantly then fed to all of the other databases as well. The next one, we're talking about a user who comes in and they are directed to the developer space. So when the user is searching for things in the shopping alerting interface, it will also say there are other development products for products like this. Would you like to see it? So the user then is directed by the shopping alerting interface to other projects that are creating products like the product that the person is currently searching for. So here we have the individual being not only seeing what's on the market, but they can come down and see other products. Now, here's an example where a user volunteers to be a tester and is engaged by the developer. So in this case, users can register using the team tool, saying that they would like to be a tester. And then when developers are looking to try to find someone who might test their tool, they find that there are people there. The tool will then notify the user. So the user isn't exposed to the developer. The developer goes to the team tool and says, I'm looking for volunteers to test such and such a thing. The tool will then notify the user, and then the user gets the option if they want to contact the manufacturer. And if they do, then they've closed the loop, and we now have them being able to access and use it. Now let's talk about a manufacturer who adds a new product. So the manufacturer adds a new product to the unified listing, and instantly it goes out to all of the other databases. Depending upon if it's a mainstream database or an assistive technology, it'll go into the different directions. And again, goes to the shopping alerting interface, which then gets to the users in that direction. Now let's talk about a curator who's updating a record by putting in pictures and alt text, or they may edit the entry to be more accurate or add additional information. So here, a curator working on the shopping and learning interface adds pictures and descriptions. This is fed back through the API to the unified listing, and then all of those additional information are fed to the different databases and to the manufacturer. Now, not shown here is actually a piece of the loop where whenever things are changed to a manufacturer's interface, they get a chance to look at it first and get a chance to provide input and make sure that the updates are accurate. Now, this is an example where a user leaves hints for another user. So one of the other types of feedback we have is the ability for a user to leave information for another user. So they might say, don't use this product with that product because they'll conflict, or it may say, if you think that it won't work with this other product, here's the way you do it, and then it works fine. Or you may say, there's a really interesting thing you can do with this product that has the following advantages. So the user would leave feedback in the shopping and learning interface and leave information for other users. So when the other users view the entry, they can see it. That same information then is also fed down into manufacturers and challengers as well, so that the feedback about how to use it differently, use it cleverly, is fed to manufacturers and down into the developers area. Thank you.